Hello, my name is Bill Reimer from the Regent Bookstore, and I'm back for our pick of the day. The pick today is by the New York Times op ed writer Ross Douthat, and it's entitled The Decadent Society: How We Became Victims of Our Own Success. I first noticed the writing of Ross back, maybe 13, 14 years ago when he was a young senior editor with the Atlantic magazine. And then in 2009, he went over to the New York Times to become the youngest New York Times op ed writer at the tender age of 28. An incredible accomplishment when you think about it. He is a clever writer who writes boldly from a Christian perspective. It is not neoconservative screed, or he would simply not be in the position that he's in. It wouldn't be allowed, of course, but he is a clever writer, and this book is one to be noticed. It's not about, when he uses the term decadence, he's not meaning morality in the sense that you might think immediately, but he's thinking of cultural exhaustion. He takes his cue from Jacques Barzun, who wrote From Dawn to Decadence, which came out in 2001, just months before 2011. And isn't it interesting that Ross's book, this book, came out February 25th this year, immediately before lockdown. Fascinating cultural phenomena with both of them. I will read from the flyleaf. I don't normally do that, but this reading will give you a good sense of where the book is going. Today, the Western world seems to be in crisis. But beneath our social media frenzy and reality television politics, the deeper reality is one of drift, repetition, and dead ends. The Decadent Society explains what happens when a rich and powerful society ceases advancing, how the combination of wealth and technological proficiency with economic stagnation, political stalemates, cultural exhaustion, and demographic decline creates a strange kind of sustainable decadence, a civilizational languor that could endure for longer than we think. Ranging from our grounded space shuttles to our Silicon Valley villains, from our blandly recycled film and television, a new Star Wars saga, another Star Trek series, the fifth Terminator sequel, to the escapism we're furiously chasing through drug use and virtual reality. Ross Douthat argues that many of today's discontents and derangements reflect a sense of futility and disappointment, a feeling that the future was not what was promised, that the frontiers have all been closed, and that the paths forward lead only to the grave. In this environment, we fear catastrophe, but in a certain way, we also pine for it, because the alternative is to accept that we are permanently decadent, aging, comfortable, and stuck, cut off from the past and no longer confident in the future, spurning both memory and ambition while we wait for some saving innovation or revelations, growing old unhappily together in the glowing light of tiny screens. Correcting both optimists who insist that we're just growing richer and happier with every passing year, and pessimists who expect collapse any moment. Douthat provides an enlightening diagnosis of the modern condition, how we got here, how long our age of frustration might last, and how, whether in renaissance or catastrophe, our decadence might ultimately end. A good read that I recommend. Ross has made 2 visits to Regent College in the past. Back in 2012, a number of us got together and thought we should do a conference on political theology. And so we invited Ross, Jamie Smith, Peter Lighthart, and our own Hans Boersma. And they all gave lectures and interacted in a quite engaging fashion. Uh, the conference was called Faith and Politics in a Fractured World, and it's available from our download site. We'll include the link. Also, then in 2014, Ross was invited once again, and this time to give the prestigious Lang lectures at Regent and on the topic of this book. And this book is the refined product of the Lang lectures back in 2014. So we are proud of them here at Regent, and they are also available on our Regent download site. And I'll include also a link to the review of the book by Mark Lilla, the public intellectual scholar, historian, critic from Columbia University, I believe it is. But a very perceptive review, and not an unsympathetic one, even from his standpoint as a secular academic. So that's it for today. You can buy the book from our Aereo fulfillment site. They ship from the U.S. and the prices are in the U.S., but there are very few options for shipping today, but that is one of them, and that's the one we use. So thank you very much. God be with you and your family wherever you are today. Bye now.